Hi, I'm a Bullis Student Tutor. Today I'll be introducing factoring to you. Factoring polynomial expressions is a very important skill. And if you're able to factor a polynomial expression just by looking at it, you're able to save a lot of time, and it's the quickest, easiest way to do that, to factor and solve a polynomial. So it's important that we learn how to do this the easiest way. So we're going to start with this example right here. And the first step to this process is we're going to look at the term with no x. So in this case, that would be 12. And the reason for that is when we end up finding the factors, it's going to be in this format where we're going to have x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something, right? And the reason why you look at 12 is because this something times that something has to equal positive 12, right? Because when we're foiling this out, that's just how it plays out. So we're going to look at the factors of 12. And here we have 1 and 12, we have 2 and 6, and we have 3 and 4. And now, out of these factors, we're going to see which combination of these pairs of factors can make negative 7. Because, right, when you FOIL this out, you're going to get to this x. I'm just going to write this in just to make it easier for everyone to see. Let's say we just put A here and we put B here. We're going to get, when we FOIL, we're going to get plus or minus XB plus or minus AB, or AX, sorry. So that's why we're doing this the way that we are. So now that we have our factors, we need to find which pair can make negative 7. So we start with 1 and 12. No combination of 1 and 12 can make negative 7. So we're going to cross that out, right? Because if you add or subtract 1 or 12, you can only get plus or minus 11 or plus or minus 13. Move on to the next one. And process of elimination is just the easiest way to do this, especially when you're just starting. So next we move to 2 and 6, and that also doesn't work because any combination of 2 and 6 added or subtracted from each other would either get you to plus or minus 8 or plus or minus 4, and that's not negative 7. So now we move on to 3 and 4, and this one would work. So 4 minus 3, or 3 minus 4, that would get you to plus or minus 1. But if you were to add negative 3 to negative 4, you would get negative 7. So this is what we're going to use here. And just like that, we have our factors. And just to check our work, we're going to FOIL it out. Right? Always make sure you want to check your work. So we're going to FOIL this out. X squared minus 4x minus 3x plus 12. And if we simplify that, we're going to get right back to what we started with, proving that this strategy does work. So doing the process of elimination might seem a little long at the start, but trust me, this is the best way to do it. And it does really help, especially when you get into more difficult problems, just to be able to recognize whether you can or can't factor a problem just by looking at it. So now we're going to move on to one more example. All right. So now we're looking at x squared minus 5x minus 24. So you can pause the video now if you want to try it by yourself. All right. So now we're going to go through this one. We're going to start with the same process. We start with the non-x term, which would be negative 24. So we need to find all the factors of 24. So factors of 24 would be 1 and 24. It would be 2 and 12. It would be 3 and 8. And it would be 4 and 6. So now we have one more factor than we did in the previous term. And then now we need to find which combination of these factors of negative 24 would make negative 5, like we have in the middle right here. So we're going to start with 1 and 24, just for the sake of this video. But here's a quick tip. It's smart to start with the ones that are closest together, right? Especially when you have negative 5 in the middle. You know that the difference or the sum of these two numbers is going to have to be 5. So that's a pro tip, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to start with 1 and 24, which does not work because you can't use 1 and 24 to make negative 5. You can only get plus or minus 25, plus or minus 23. Moving on to 2 and 12. Now, here, it would also not work because you can only get plus or minus 14, plus or minus 10. Now, if we move to 3 and 8, this would work because if you were to use negative 8 plus positive 3, that would get you to your negative 5, right? So this one does work, which means that that's what we're going to use. But just for the sake of this video, let's check this last one. So 4 and 6 also would not work. The reason is 4 minus 6 or 6 minus 4, that would get you plus or minus 2. And then if you add the 2, you would get plus or minus 10. So those do not work. We're left with 3 and negative 8. So we're going to fill in our factored form. And there you go. And then let's just check back to FOIL to check back. And we're going to get the same thing. And then, so this is just the process that we should go through every time, just to make sure we're not making mistakes. Yep. And then once we check this back, we're going to see we get exactly what we started with. So I hope this video was helpful for learning how to factor. And thank you for watching.